Hey, this is Tracy with Color Me This. I am back with a follow-up to my Castle Arts video. This is episode 9, and I am going to go over the metallics, the 50 metallics set that I bought. I did not buy this with any particular purpose in mind. I just wanted to have some metallics for the fun of it to explore, and the pencils feel very soft and very silky. Their metallicness is more of a sheen, I would say, than metallic. And I have another metallic set on order that is more bright colored. These are all very muted. The whole palette is muted. I think it has its place, and I think my demonstration today will show you a good possibility of how you can use these particular colors. I have pulled out a few of them to use on a particular project. This is a project for my sister-in-law. I got her some fun crafting supplies for making a traveler's journal, and I've made her like a mini journal for her to see the possibilities of what she can do with it. So I will be sending this to her, and I have pulled, you can see a set of colors to go through this book and add more color intensity. So for the first page, which I haven't, some of the pages I've done some samples of so that I can see how these work. And this is how one possibility that I could see you could take either papers or stamps, stamped images, and then go through and just brighten them up, add a little more zip to them with the metallics. Again, these are a really soft, like a muted palette, I would say, rather than a very shiny palette. But I think that you could still use these to spice up different projects that you might have. And I like how they feel. They sharpen really well. A couple of the places that I want to use the pencils, I had to sharpen to a nice sharp point. I use an electric sharpener. I have the Jarlink sharpener, and it so far has been very good at sharpening every single pencil I have thrown at it, and that is many, many different sets of pencils. I pretty much own all of the really expensive ones, and then a nice arrangement now. I have been fleshing out my middle, I would call my middle tier, and then bought a few more of the very economical pencils to use around the house and on all of my projects. And I am working on starting a coloring group here in my community, so I've got some nice economical coloring books, coloring pages, digital downloads, free ones, to help people get started on this coloring journey. I'd like to share the wealth on coloring, which I find very fun and relaxing. So I'm just dressing up this front page somewhat, making it a little more interesting. I do have this vibrant purple that I pulled out for up here. And a lot of these little tidbits that I have on this book that you'll see came from Temu, which I bought the 520 set, and I just did a video about the 520 set purchase. In addition to that big box, it came in a giant orange bag. All of these supplies that you see here in this book were either from Stampin' Up! Or were from Temu. And then, so I just think these are really easy to add anywhere you would want on a page. If you don't like a certain area, let's do a little eraser test. So up here I added a bunch of pencil, and you can see that it all erases very nicely. So if I wanted to have my line not extend so far, I could just erase it like that. In here I've done this particular picture to show you what it originally looked like. I have this book, and it has 2 sets of pages. So here is what the original, you can see I've just added and darkened up with 2. I used the zircon bronze, and I think I added some of the harvest gold to brighten up my seahorse, and I'm going to continue to work a little bit on the seahorse with you guys. I have sharpened my pencils to a nice sharp point so that I can stay close to the thickness of the lines already established. And here I'm just adding some brightness and a little more interest. And this whole set of products, I was going for kind of the sort of the distressed sea, ocean travelers theme. Some of these really faint lines that you see me darkening, you might not be able to see. It's fun beyond just doing coloring pages for the sake of relaxation. I find it really fun to use my coloring in projects that I am going to give to people, be it just something simple like a card, or in this case a little paper journal where I'm demonstrating for her, my sister-in-law, the kinds of things that she can do with the products that I am sending her way. And then in addition to this little paper book, I actually got her a really neat 3D embossed journal that has lined pages, with the intent that when she travels she can go ahead and keep notes, as well as add any of these little 3D elements. These are washi flamingos, and this is a washi ocean scene, but you can see that it is transparent, and whatever you put it on, whatever's behind is going to show through, which is kind of fun. And then even these little stickers of phrases. She has 3 sheets of phrases, so let's say she doesn't have anything in particular that she would like to say, but she can just pick some fun statements off of the sheet and stick them down. So I tried to make it as easy as possible for her to utilize all of these fun goodies. And then back here I brought out Dragon Orange, and I've already started to darken these fun palms, because you see this Dragon Orange, these little lines are not me. I am going to mimic those lines by darkening some areas of this paper. Just to zip it up some. I was struggling with trying to find a traditional use for these. traditional in the sense of what I normally color, and I struggled with coming up with either on black, maybe a stamped image, and then I was thinking as I was putting together this little book of papers that has a variety of little doodads in it. So like this doily is a Stampin' Up! Doily, and I took a sponge, and I added some crumb cake behind, using this as a stencil so that it actually then has this texture. And I've already gone through with a lighter color, and now here I am going with a darker color, intensifying the lines just for fun. And I don't even know if she will notice that I have added the pencil marks to the papers. Who knows? It's just fun for me. This is the part that is relaxing for me. This little sticker. And then I've got a little pocket here that I've talked to her about either making a paper journal, or she could use the journal that I have provided that's in her box. And then these are some die cuts, and that's another phrase, trust your crazy ideas. So I've tried to put in some fun goodies. There's a bow. Oh, and I've added some lines here, I see. These are green, some green shading. I added this particular orange down here on these shells, added some purple to darken up the shells already from what they were. I've taken this green, ocean gray, which is funny, it's called ocean gray because it is definitely green. And then these are stamped images that I stamped in a Lost Lagoon Stampin' Up! Ink. And now I'm just adding some shading to get them to look more 3D. And then these shells I've already darkened with the orange. And then here's some Stampin' Up! Webbing, as well as these little guys are more stickers, paper stickers. And I am going to pause for a moment because I have something I need to take out of the fridge, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back, and I'm just continuing adding some shading. And this one I want to add some shading. Today here in Florida where we live, it is 95 degrees, and this is our third summer, and we're not sure, now that we live in a home where we have good air conditioning, which is very different than an RV's air conditioning. I'm definitely sure that our RV would be struggling right now if we had to be in it in this hot of weather day after day. But in the house, when you're outside and then you come inside, it's just so cold. And yet we keep our home pretty warm. It's like 74. And it is just darn hot out there. Darn hot. Put we still love it here. All right, let's brighten up our starfish. So I'm just adding this orange kind of all over. See the darken, you can see these other quadrants aren't darkened. And like I said, this is just a way that you can color on something that you are going to give to somebody. And this is just DSP that you can get. You can buy it at Hobby Lobby. Stampin' Up! Has really nice DSPs. This is me experimenting with Temu DSPs. And they're totally fine. They're definitely a distressed, muted color palette, but that's what I was after, versus very vibrant. And as you can see, I am brightening up the starfish, and I'm going to leave the page part of the starfish the lighter color. So that did a nice job. Love it. And then there's all sorts of blues. Here's the palette again. And I was thinking of brightening up some of these tones and the tones up here as well. So that would be these two rows. I like kelp green. There it is. You see how that's just brightening up? And then I wanted to brighten this up down here. There you have it. So I will continue on to finish this off. This is a Stampin' Up! Trim, and these are just little pieces that come out, and I could pull this page out and do some darkening, but I probably won't because I figure this is a page to be written on. Same with this. This is the side that's supposed to be written on. So I hope that you have found this to be fun and interesting. I will probably take this orange and I will continue on to brighten up the trees and the leaves and the palm fronds. So I think that's all I've got for today. And that finishes up my metallics, giving them a good usefulness. I like them a lot. They're very, as I said, they're very soft and silky feeling. And the muted palette works really well to help darken up some of these DSPs that I'm playing with. Let me know what you think of my project and what I am finding to use my pencils for. I am growing my channel, so be sure to do all of the YouTube things. Thank you to all of the new subscribers and all of the views that I am getting. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment, please. I haven't got a lot of comments yet. I know that takes time and nobody wants to be the first person to comment, but please comment. I do administer my comments, and so if it's a negative comment, it won't be seen. But if it's something positive that's helpful for the coloring community at large, I will happily approve it. And as always, thanks for watching.